What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Early Edge. I'm your host, Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you today. And I'll tell you what, before we get to that, let's take a look at how we did yesterday. And we did okay on the morning show. Not too great, but you know what? We survived it. We got through. Didn't kill us. And here's where we sit on the Early Edge in 5. A perfect show on there. So we ended up 8-7. So we salvaged ourselves, came out of the bullpen. You know what? Got a little few hits here in the 9th inning. Racked it up. All right, let's bring in the stars of the show. And look at it. We're running 4 wide here. First, Allie O'Neill. How we doing?
Doing well. Happy to be here today.
You know what? We're happy to have you here today. And I'll tell you what, we're happy to have you as well. Prop Stars. How we doing, sir?
AB, I am great. A wise man once said, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. We came in strong, ended the day well. I'm obviously happy to be here as well, seeing JB, Allie, and you, AB, to start my morning. Always is a great way to start the day.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no better way in the world than starting your morning with Mr. John Bowman. How are we, sir?
Yeah, thanks, AB. Good to see you guys, too. Got a long day today, a lot of baseball. Unfortunately, there are only 2 day games on a Thursday, which is weird, but we're still going to get after it today.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, me, Allie, Props, we're fired up to see you break down every single game on HQ today. So we're excited to see that. Can't wait to see it. All right, let's get into the storylines that affect the betting lines for today. And I'll tell you what, it's Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Dragging a little bit, right? There's only one thing that we need. It's the prop shop, baby. What do we got?
AB, with no guaranteed money left on Ezekiel Elliott's contract beyond this season, many wonder if this is his last year with the Dallas Cowboys. If the Cowboys were smart, in my opinion, they would not invest another dime into an aging running back who has seen his production fall off every single season, basically, and was routinely outplayed last year by his backup, Tony Pollard, who not only looked far more explosive, but he makes less than $1 million per year compared to Zeke, who makes $18.5 million, and he accounts for nearly 10% of the team's salary cap. It is inexplicable, in my opinion, for a running back in 2022-23 to account for 10% of a team's salary cap. If he does not provide elite production, and he's obviously being outplayed by a backup, it's just preposterous. If I'm Dallas, I'm going to run Zeke into the ground this season, a la Bill Belichick, what he does when he has a contract year running back. If the Cowboys decide to re-sign Zeke, even at a team-friendly deal, that would just be a massive disaster, AP.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We talked about it, all last season, on the live shows and everything leading into the games that Tony Pollard's pretty good, right? Even Cowboys fans, they love Ezekiel Elliott, but every one of them was like, can we please just put the ball in Pollard's hands? This dude keeps scoring. What are we doing? Speaking of, what are we doing? I'll tell you what we're looking to be doing, and that's cashing some tickets. But the way to do that, my man, is with the Bullpen Report.
Let's get after it today. So we got Andrew Benintendi, probably the first trade of the week before the trade deadline. He goes to the Yankees. They get some much-needed outfield help, especially from a lefty. Frankly, I wish that happened tonight so he could just walk across the field and go to the other dugout. Tyler Wells left yesterday's game early with a back injury. He looked like he was in serious discomfort. Hopefully it was just something like a cramp. Joe Kelly for the White Sox was removed early yesterday. And Reynaldo Lopez is also injured for the White Sox bullpen. They keep getting hurt. They can't stay healthy. Obviously, there's a lot of unlucky involved in getting hurt, but at the same time, you've got to start questioning if your manager is just running these guys into the ground or putting these guys in a position to fail.
Yeah, that's an excellent point there. Excellent point. I'm with you 100% on that. Now, Allie, speaking of, not necessarily running into the ground, kind of the opposite here. You've got a great nugget in Major League Baseball. What are you seeing?
Yep. So Angels and Rangers, they've played each other 9 times this season, and all of those 9 have actually gone over 7.5. Ohtani did start both of those, but they were both in Texas. So he's obviously a lot better at home. So it could be a little interesting today to see kind of how he catches up with that. But Spencer Howard, he has a 10.54 ERA, and that's only in 13.2 innings pitched. But the over is 4-1 in his start. So I definitely think it's something to consider, but be wary, obviously, with Ohtani.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's fascinating that you bring that up, and especially the last part with Ohtani, because I have a feeling, I'm not clairvoyant, no crystal ball, but I have a feeling that what you just said is going to come into play later on in the show. Speaking of later on in the show, let's get to our picks for today. But before we do, let's take a quick break and hear from one of our partners. And we are back. All right, we've got one play on the board for you today. We're going to go Cubs at Giants. We're going to go the Giants on the money line here. Minus 135. Giants 6-1 in its last 7 against Chicago. The Cubs 3-8 over its last 11 versus left-handed pitchers. We looked at the over on this one as well. Not a bad look per se, but the Giants money line just felt like the better play. The statistics and the simulations at SportsLine back that up as well. So we're going to go Giants on the money line minus 135. Okay, now we got a lot of picks to get to. First up, I'll tell you what, props coming right back at you, buddy. What you got?
Okay, B, we're back in the K-prop streets slinging. We're going Zach Wheeler, Phillies ace, over 6.5 strikeouts. He's averaging 6.3 strikeouts per start, but he gets an incredible matchup on paper versus the Pirates, who average the 3rd most strikeouts in the Major League Baseball. They possess the 2nd highest K rate versus opposing right-handed pitchers. However, Wheeler, he's failed to eclipse 7 strikeouts in his last 4 appearances, but if you look closely at his strikeout splits, he really beats up on teams that strike out a lot, which we know the Pirates do. Kind of struggles a bit in the strikeout department versus teams that are stingier. That's why I love this spot for him. My model has Wheeler projected at 7.51 strikeouts, which is a nice size edge, especially considering you can find this prop hovering between plus 110 and plus 115.
Nice. It's well done right there. Now, Allie, coming over to you. You got to pick Major League Baseball. Love the pick. But I'll tell you what. You know what? You've got a lot of nicknames on this show, right? You're very popular. The audience loves you. We all love you. You're fantastic, right? But I think it's time a little Game of Thrones. The Queen of Cashes. She's here.
Love it. Okay, so my pick for today is the Rays and Orioles over 9. Ryan Yarbrough, he started both times versus Orioles, and both of them went over. And he has a 5.61 ERA. Jordan Lyles, he's actually been really good at home, but he did start versus the Rays twice. And just recently, he gave up 6 earned runs in 2.2 innings, and then 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched in the earlier game. Obviously, both teams have good bullpens, but I'm hoping that those starting pitchers really crumble just to allow everything to kind of fall.
Yep. I'm with you on that 100% for sure. Now, here's look at the chat. The bots are back. The bots are back. All right. Here's the hard part. Hosting and producing. It's getting out of control. You know what? We're just going to take care of this live on the air. So, block user, and they're starting to come in. There we go. Look at him. Dude, we just knocked him out. Like, that's first pitch. Just knocked him out. All right. Speaking of that, we said that our man coach, he was supposed to host the show today, PGA Tour. He's got all kinds of things going on. But you know how he is. He's not going to miss it. And he's definitely not going to miss putting in some picks. So, Coach, going at you, man. What do you got?
Hey, what's good, everybody? It is your boy, the Coach. You know it's Thursday. You know we've only got 2 events left before the race for the FedEx Cup. So, duty calls. PGA Tour Live, where the best players play. Now, I got 2 plays from round 1 matchups today. Number 1, Tom Kim, minus 123 over Kevin Kisner. If you don't have this matchup at your book, I like Tom Kim against anybody they're going to put him up against right now. Take him round 1 against Kisner or against anybody else. Then, play number 2, Doug Gim, minus 110 over Brendan Steele. Now, Doug Gim played really well last week. Sneaky. Every week, he's kind of top 20, top 15. But today, he gets off to a good start. We'll go Doug Gim, minus 110 over Brendan Steele. So Tom Kim over Kevin Kisner, Doug Gim over Brendan Steele. And I'll see all of you. We never stop grinding at the pay window. AB, keep it going.
I'll tell you what, Coach is so good, he can make his picks rhyme, right? Like, if you could hit your picks and they rhyme, dude, what more can you do? All right, Bowman, you're in the Maestro spot. I think in like 19 different versions across CBS Sports today. So I'll tell you what, we're proud to start it off first right here. What do you got, my man?
Yeah, as AB's referring to, I'll be on HQ around 12:45 today if anybody wants to join in going over all the games. But I've got my favorite play today, Rockies money line plus 175 versus the Dodgers. So Tyler Anderson has been very good this season. You could say he's been the Dodgers' best pitcher besides Tony Gonsolin. Jose Urena is pitching for the Rockies. He struggled last start, but he's honestly been pretty good this season. But what's got me over the edge here is the Rockies are the best team in the league in weighted on base average against lefties. They're also 4-2 at home against the Dodgers this season. So I love this value here.
There we go. Anytime you find value, my man, I'm all in for that. Speaking of value, take a look at the recap here. And it is glorious. There's some value for you. John Baldwin's on the Rockies, as he just explained, plus 175. Prop star Zach Wheeler over 6.5 strikeouts at plus 115. Allie, she broke down the Rays and Orioles over 9 minus 110. Cash for the coach, he's on Tom Kim minus 123 versus Kisner. Doug Gim minus 110 versus Steele. Our site play, the Giants money line at minus 135. And I told you, Allie, what you spoke about. We're going to have a little breakdown in regards to that. Here's our AB pick 3 for today. First, Rangers pitcher Spencer Howard, total outs under 14.5. Look, essentially what we're saying is he's not going to make it through 5 full innings tonight. He's only made it 5+ innings twice this season. Couple that, he's got a 7.11 ERA in 7 games, plus the notes that Allie broke down as well. He's only started 1 time against the Angels, and he only made it 2 innings. So we're going to roll Spencer Howard under 14.5 on that. Second, we're going to go with the over between the Royals and the Yankees, 7.5. Now, look, the hard part is this. Yeah, it's a pretty solid pitching matchup, right? Like, you've got 2 guys in Singer and Jameson that can go. But you know what? The Yankees, they didn't hit very well versus the Mets. They have been mashing against the Royals all season long. They've scored 21 runs so far in 3 games versus Kansas City. The over's hitting 66% clip between these two. We're going to ride it again. Last play, Phillies team total over 4 at minus 145. The Phillies, they've covered this number 2 of its last 3 games. You know what? Going up against Pittsburgh here. Pittsburgh, look, you might say, hey, Pittsburgh coming off a day off. They're rested. Alan, what are you doing? Well, here's a nugget for you. All right. The Pirates, they are 1-12 straight up after a day off this season. And they're 54% to the over after a day off. So what does that tell you? That means the other team is scoring a bunch of runs. So that's all the damage we can do for today. That was a fantastic show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be live at 4 p.m. Eastern for the early edge in 5. But until then, everybody, as always, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets. We'll see you a bit later this afternoon. Thanks.